I'm Dan Twing. I'm President and Chief Operations Officer at Enterprise Management Associates. I cover intelligent automation. First of all, it was purpose-built for the cloud. It was purpose-built to be a software as a service product. Many of the products in this category have added cloud capabilities. There are even some that offer some software as a service options, but it's an afterthought on most of those products. And with Redwood's Run My Jobs, it was built to be Saas first. And so that makes it very easy to get started because they're running all the infrastructure for you. It also is a very modern product. It's not as old as some of the other products on the market, so it's very adaptable. And so those three architectural things that they did, first of all, at the administrative level, so up at the top end, the way they do patching and upgrades, they chose for their SaaS environment to be a multi-instance. They then use their own tool to administer all these different instances for all of these clients. And they're very efficient at that, and then they patch that very regularly. It's a very continuous improvement thing. You then can decide when you're going to pull that patch or that upgrade into your environment. So right out of the gate, they made some choices that made things very flexible for customers. Second, a lot of the older products were initially offered with a fat client console. And over time, they needed a web-based interface. So they would strip certain features out over time as the web evolved and try to move as much of the console functionality to a web or browser-based interface. Run My Jobs was built right out of the gate with a web console. So all of the capabilities are there, all of the features are there, and they've done a really good job of putting in all the kinds of visualizations that you need, but knowing it was going to be a browser from the beginning. The third, and I think the most important characteristic, is the way data is handled from the customer environment and up to the cloud. So they have a concept of something called the spool host. And the spool host truncates as much data as possible of the user's data in the user's environment or the customer's environment. This accomplishes a couple of things. First of all, it means that the data isn't moving back and forth. They're not running up the networking bill. As much stuff that can be left locally is left locally, and only what's needed to manage those workloads is what happens in the cloud. That also allows the customer then to decide where their data is located. And in a lot of European countries, there are laws actually and governance issues that have to be managed about where the data is located. So they have an architecture that lets the customer decide where the data resides. So those concepts of the administrative and how the patches are done, the console, and how the data is truncated locally are really three important concepts as to how this product was built for software as a service model.